Hello there, and welcome back to another episode of the Twilight Wars browser app series. Today's video, we're going to be going over what's new with update 1.19. So, our last update we had Ghost of Creus. In this update, we have some updates more geared towards quality of life. So let's just walk through what we got. As far as game components go, there is one minor change, which was to the Uprising action card, which will now allow you to select a planet that has 0 resources. Kind of in line with some of the way we've adjusted other action cards in the past to relax the restrictions on how they can be played. As far as new features go, we got a couple of interesting ones. So one of them is, as of update 1.19, the game will now automatically try to optimize the color of the players that are based on factions. So what do I mean by this? And we will do a couple of demonstrations of this shortly, but just to give you an idea of what this means is, so for example, when you think of a faction like the Embers of Muat, you probably think supernovas and fire, so something like red. So the game will try to prioritize a color like red for the Embers of Muat, whereas before the colors were completely randomized. Another thing is, for example, another more obvious case would be the Sarl tribes. So they're like the green goblins, and the game will try to optimize their color to be green. And this, going forward here, the intention here is to give players probably just an easier way of identifying the faction based on the color, as opposed to always maybe having to either hover the home system or check the player info tab, especially if you're playing in more than one game. So yeah, that's a color optimization scheme we have. Another quality of life update is we've now added to the discard decks, we've added the total number of cards in the discard deck, as well as the total number of cards remaining in play. That way players don't need to be guessing when a reshuffle is imminent. We've also changed how home systems are referenced in the game logs. So previously, just like every other system with planets, the logs would say the names of the planets. But now, if it's a home system, it'll actually use the faction's name rather than those planet names. And finally, we've also added a help message for the Wrath of Kanara flagship for the Emirates of Hakan. And they've been in the game for quite a while, so unfortunately we were missing that help feature for a while, but now that'll be available in all games going forward. We also got some bug fixes, some pretty minor bug fixes, so I'll let you guys check that out on your own time if you want. But let's go back to the home page here, and there's one other thing, which is you're gonna get a banner now that will come up, and it's basically just reminding you that if you do have the option to donate to the Twilight Wars app, we do offer the app for free, provided you provide a proof of purchase token, and donations help us to keep our servers up and improve our tech stack as we go forward. Completely voluntary and no pressure at all. So if you want, you can just click the Not Now button, and then this banner will not show up again for about 3 months. So pretty non-invasive there. But you could also access this feature in the menu here, down donate with the heart. clicking donate there or through the banner will bring you to the secure PayPal donations page. As far as demonstrations go, let's first look at the new discard decks. You'll notice that actually now, instead of the trash can icon, these have been replaced with a more generic eye information icon. So for example, if we click on the action card deck, previously these numbers at the top were invisible. You had something like this. However, now we have 14 total discarded action cards, 52 remaining. So if you are playing on the most up-to-date version in your game, so your game is using, whenever the last action card was introduced, you can tally that up and see that we have 66 current action cards there. And same thing for the agenda deck. And you can see here we haven't reached the agenda phase yet, so we actually have 0 cards in the discard and a total of 32 agendas in the deck. We could also just take a look at the game log here, and if you look at this most recent game log, you'll see that Alice moved units from what's now being referred to as the Nalu Collective Home System. So that makes it a lot easier to identify those. Now, let's go ahead and look at this lobby, which I've just made. I believe it's just an all random lobby. So you can see from the game info here that we're just looking at all random because I just want to demonstrate our color picker to see how that generates colors. So let's hop into this game here. And we'll see what factions we got and the colors. So Ghosts of Creus, gets the blue color. The Cha Kingdom gets green. The Emirates of Hakan get yellow. And you can very clearly see how, loosely speaking, the color is trying to match the tokens, right? And so here there's really no conflict between the factions, and they all got their priorities, right? Sometimes there will be, 2 factions, like if it's the Cha Kingdom and the Yasarl tribes. I'm not 100% sure who will get the green from priority and what the next color will be, but there will be some sort of tier there. We can maybe do one more here to see just a couple other factions, hopefully. So if I go back and I log back in to this, we'll go back to our random game. Maybe we'll get some different factions, hopefully. So now we'll get the Yasarl tribes, again green, Nalu Collective yellow, and there's the aforementioned members of Muat getting the red color. So obviously this will be only available for, maybe not obviously, but it will only be available for new games that get started for update 1.19. But that's about it for this update. So yeah, I think that we got hopefully some new quality of life features that'll make it a little easier for players to navigate discard decks for reshuffle purposes, as well as just identifying who the factions are based on colors, and some good bug fixes and whatnot. So I'll stop the video here. Otherwise, enjoy the rest of your day, and we'll see you in the next one.